So the great DOA has blessed us with advice on being big on the YouTubes, which is good for me since it dovetails with me doing a semi-short announcement, and then we'll jump into DOA's. And again, this is mainly a parody video. I'm not going to try to distort what he said, but I just found it, frankly, kind of amusing. So if you have followed the channel, this is going to be repeating myself, but if you're just tuning in, basically I've had some issues with my health, as well as work. I know it shocks people I do work beyond this, as well as my phone basically being DOA itself. I can still access it here and there, but it seems basically gone. And it's kind of amusing, people apparently still trying to call the phone, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I can't really touch the phone. Like, it's just, sometimes it lets me back in, sometimes it does not. More recently, not letting me back in, so I'm like, okay, well, that's where it is. So it's created some delays and dilemmas for the videos. So the good news, bad news is I hopefully can give you guys a whole batch of videos, including the regular people and the channel members. Will be hopefully be getting some bonuses because the delay has allowed me to record a few things I wasn't able to record before, and even sharpen a few things. So there you go. So you'll be getting sort of a bump in the content real soon. So look out for that. And the work I have is pretty good. A certain amount of hours I was given, and they were nice, and now less hours, and that's just how it is. It's kind of up and down with them. Hopefully I'll be still getting some hours, but I really can't tell. It is what it is. It's all over the place. So hopefully it doesn't affect the channel too much, but it is what it is. This woman, who I don't even know, is asking a question about, how did you grow so big, Mr. DOA? And DOA gave his, I don't think it was really great advice, but it's his perspective. Well, you see, you got to remember, I put in time and effort in my court cases and my protests. I've been out here for years and years, so I'll build my audience. Right. And she's like, yeah, but because apparently she's doing stuff in Denver with, I assume, anti-Scientology? I don't know. I'm just looking at an excerpt, and I want to look at the original just to be fair to him. But anyway, so he continued, well, you know, you got to reach out, getting into them chats. And I hate to say it, but you got to give money. When you're in them chats, you got to give the money. That's how you're going to grow. And she's like, I don't have the money. That's why she's asking to grow, to get the money. And she's like, yeah, you got to go in them chats and give the money. There you go. Them's the advice. Just get out there with court cases and be in them chats and give the money. That's sound advice. But some of the stuff he was saying was true and valid. Apparently he's saying that the Chicago people, they've kind of come together and formed their own little thing. They're saying, oh, you know what happens is the smaller channels need to bond together. They need to bond together, right? Come together like a great army, and then you shall grow. You shall grow from the small to the big. Right. And then she was like, thanks, DOA. I was like, you're welcome. So what to make of any of that insanity? Well, I mean, I'm trying to solve that puzzle too, because again, a lot of these issues recently with Nora, DOA, Aaron, and the others is about YouTube, right? Not really a controversy in real life. He's trying to sanction or control things on YouTube. And listen, on YouTube, like him or not, Aaron is dominant, right? He is the dominant channel. When people type in anti-Scientology or Tom Cruise, his name will likely appear. And that's what happened to me. I was just getting curious about Scientology, right, due to the Danny Masterson case, and I slipped into the rabbit hole, and he was there, right? There was a lot of him. Like, if you just try to even avoid him, if you watch anti-Scientology documentaries, so on and so forth, at least in my case, YouTube recommended it, so it's like, okay, I'll give it a chance, and here we are. So there's certain biases built into the system, which Aaron is taking advantage of. That said, Mr. Super Expert Man, how, if I wanted to do anti-Scientology, how can I get a big channel? Well, I don't think the way I'm doing it would work for you, because some of the, quote, larger channels, and let's be clear, yeah, you get larger, but you reach a limit. Like, let's take a look at Marilyn Honig, one of the more notorious cases. She has 5,000 subscribers, but she's actually lost people. She's lost a lot of people. She used to be at 6,000 subscribers, but she lost about 1,000 subscribers by being too close to Aaron. So in the past, the formula is very simple. You basically go to Aaron, and if he helps you, you will get very big, very fast. But it does reach a limit, right? I mean, Nora, ironically, is a case of this, where she got a lot of her subscribers from Aaron. the Aaron people will tell you, I'll subscribe to you because Aaron's. So it was a pretty simple monopoly. Again, not a good system, but that was the system that a lot of it depended on being close to Aaron, being pro-Aaron. So the channels grew being pro-Aaron, but they did reach a limit, right? So Nora technically was limited to like 12,000, 13,000 people. Liz Gale has what, like 11,000 people. You go through the list. And that was the way to do it, right? Be pro-Aaron, get to that many people. And DOA is definitely an anomaly. Like, he's definitely lost a few people being anti-Aaron, but it's not really that fundamental a change, right? He's probably lost hundreds of people, but he's still at 12,000 subscribers. So what do we mean by getting big, right? To most people, this would be big. Just getting to 12,000, 20,000 subscribers. Like Natalie, that's huge. That's a big audience. But in terms of Aaron, like, quote, normal YouTube big, like 100,000, 200,000 subscribers, that it's very hard to find, right? I mean, yes, we can talk about Jessica Palmadessa and Streets LA, but they don't really do anti-Scientology seriously. It's just sort of a hobby, halfway time thing they do with that issue. However, you do find these big channels that cover cults, true crime, including Scientology and anti-Scientology. So the question is how to break into that space. Well, again, ironically, and again, Aaron is misleading you there, that Scientology is where you make the big money. Whereas from what I can see, it's really going to come down to three things. One is you have to know what you're talking about. And a lot of channels just don't. They do very, very basic or intro knowledge on Scientology and anti-Scientology, and they just get a lot of things wrong all the time. And you're like, okay, well, again, that doesn't prevent you from having a lot of subscribers, but it will limit your growth. And then we have, frankly, just outside events. It's external events that will drive the growth, right? Whether it's Neil Gaiman, Danny Masterson. If there's a big scandal or incident and you're there, you're going to pick up a lot of people. And I got to say, be honest, in my own case, it's a very weird thing that if I have to be honest, a lot of the growth has come from Aaron himself. Again, whether good or bad, right? Because I was on the pro-Aaron side, trying to give Aaron a chance. I gained a lot of people, but then I became critical, and I lost a lot of people. But over the long term, being consistently critical of everyone, at least in my case, has led to steady growth. But I was the exception to the rule. Most channels, when it was convenient to be pro-Aaron, became pro-Aaron all the way. They've only become anti-Aaron literally in the last 2 to 3 months, right? Where I can claim credit to be critical about 10 to 11 months ago, right? But that's me, right? And now they're revising their record. I was always anti-Aaron. No, they were not. I can provide times, dates, and the videos, and like they were not anti-Aaron. So a lot of this anti-Aaron growth is very recent. So now it's a little bit more all over the place. You can be pro-Aaron, anti-Aaron, so on and so forth. And there we are. But then I'm going to get to the third aspect. Yes, you do have big cult channels, but they don't cover Scientology consistently. They only cover it a few times, and then they move on to other topics. So yes, you can be a big cult channel, but being a big Scientology channel is a big problem because of Aaron, right? He just will try to attack you, limit you, really mislead the audience because, again, he wants to maintain his monopoly position. And the monopoly is breaking down, right? Like a few of his recent videos have done very well, but it seems to be just his audience he already had. He hasn't able to grow beyond it, and we know why, because of the various scandals, which I've covered here, and other people have covered. So it's kind of like a big paradox. If you want to do Scientology, anti-Scientology, can you do it? Can you get to the kind of Jessica Aaron level of getting 100, 200,000 subscribers and become self-sustaining and make pretty good money? I mean, that's my goal, but I'd have to be honest, trying to do it exclusively covering only Scientology is kind of hard. The majority of the time, Aaron is just focused on himself. I mean, don't believe me, just go through his thumbnails. Like, it used to be the majority, he'd never put himself in the videos, right? He'd be doing the interviews, but it wasn't focused on him. But now it's like, forget it, the last 2 years, you cannot escape him. He is always on the thumbnail, over and over and over again. And ironically, Aaron is still puzzled. I don't get it. Why am I not getting more people? Well, I mean, it's all about you now, and some people find you fascinating, people find you repulsive. And there we go. DOA's advice was interesting, but I don't think it was very analytic in terms of really becoming successful on YouTube. It's just sort of his experience, which is correct, that he built a brand name and built off the brand name. But it's like, right, but how do you get a brand name? Well, there you go. That's the big hidden mystery, and no one really knows. I mean, making a brand, if it was really simple, everyone would be doing it and making tons of money, but it's not as easy as you think, at least in this space.